All right, Raider Nation. Let's dive deep into this situation that's been giving every fan sleepless nights lately. The Christian Wilkins injury saga has officially hit a critical point. And the big question hanging in the air is simple but scary. What happens if Wilkins ends up needing that second surgery and is forced to miss the entire season? Honestly, even if he doesn't go under the knife again, it's becoming clearer and clearer that we're probably not going to see Wilkins operating at 100% at any point during this year. That means the Raiders are at a crossroads right now, trying to figure out how to fill a gigantic gap in the defensive line. So let's rewind a bit for those who might not be fully up to speed. Wilkins had foot surgery back on October 8th of last year. It was for a Jones fracture, which typically carries a recovery time of about 3 to 4 months, but here we are, more than 9 months down the line, and Wilkins is still nowhere near full health, according to sources with direct knowledge of the situation. The doctors for the Raiders are urging him to go in for a second procedure. That's how serious this lingering injury is. But here's the twist. Wilkins doesn't want to shut it down for the season. He's pushing back hard. He wants to try and tough it out, play through the pain, and somehow contribute. Admirable. Sure, concerning. Absolutely. Because when your franchise invests this kind of money and faith into a guy, you expect him to be out there causing havoc on the field, not sitting on the sideline fighting through rehab. So what's next? This is where the conversation starts to get interesting. The front office, the coaching staff, and honestly the entire Raider Nation now have to turn their eyes toward potential solutions. Are we talking about hitting the free agent market? Maybe swinging a trade? Or is the answer already sitting in the locker room, wearing the silver and black? Honestly, looking at how this front office operates and considering their confidence in the current roster, the most realistic scenario is that the Raiders lean heavily on the players already in the building. That's not to say they won't explore external options, but if history tells us anything, they're going to exhaust every internal possibility first. And let's face it, replacing someone like Christian Wilkins is not a simple task. Players like him don't exactly grow on trees. It's not just about plugging in another body and expecting the same production. It's going to take a group effort. It's going to require creativity from the coaching staff, especially Rob Leonard and Patrick Graham, who are already under pressure to elevate this defense. But even with the best scheming in the world, somebody has to physically step up and fill that void on the field. So who's it going to be? That's the million-dollar question right now. If we're being honest, the Raiders probably won't go out and sign some big-name defensive tackle off the street. They're unlikely to pull off some blockbuster trade either, especially at this point in the offseason. It's late June. Most rosters around the league are pretty much set, and there just aren't a lot of elite-level defensive linemen available. So again, it comes back to this current roster. The guys who have been grinding through OTA letters and minicamp, the young players, the veterans, the rotational pieces. Someone needs to emerge. Now, even if Wilkins manages to gut it out and play, the reality is that the Raiders aren't going to get a fully healthy version of him this season. So this isn't just a what if he's out scenario. It's about preparing for reduced snaps, limited effectiveness, and the constant risk that at any point, his body could give out and force him onto injured reserve. That's why the urgency to identify internal replacements is at an all-time high right now. And let's be real here, when you look at the defensive line depth, the Raiders do have bodies. Are they proven stars? Not exactly, but there's potential. There are young guys with upside, veterans with experience, and role players who might just surprise us if given a larger workload. The coaching staff is going to have to mix and match, rotate heavily, and probably adjust their scheme to mask the absence of Wilkins as much as possible. So let's start talking about names. The first player that jumps to mind is John Lalu. Yeah, he's still pretty raw and definitely on the lighter side for a true nose tackle. But he's shown flashes. He's disruptive. He plays with energy. And if there's ever a time for a young player to step up and seize the moment, this is it. The Raiders will need someone to plug gaps and take on blocks. And Lalu might get thrown into the fire whether he's ready or not. Next up, you've got Tonka Hemingway. Out of all the rookies, Hemingway probably has the best shot at earning real snaps early in the season. He was drafted higher than J.J. Pages. And you don't spend a 4th-round pick on a defensive lineman unless you believe he can contribute sooner rather than later. Hemingway brings some versatility to the table. And while he's not going to be a one-for-one replacement for Wilkins, he could at least help fill the rotation. Speaking of rookies, J.J. Pages is another name worth mentioning, even if he's a bit further down the depth chart. Don't sleep on him. He's got that raw strength and leverage that coaches love to work with. But right now, if we're talking pecking order, Hemingway gets the nod ahead of him based on draft capital and early camp reps. Moving on to the veterans, Adam Butler is a guy who's going to have to take on a much larger role, and let's not forget, the Raiders didn't bring him back on a 3-year deal worth $16.5 million, just for depth purposes. There's a real chance the front office saw this Wilkins situation coming months ago and prioritized keeping Butler around for exactly this reason. He's now the most experienced and proven defensive tackle on the roster. That comes with expectations. Another key figure in all of this is going to be Lucky Fout. From a pure size standpoint, Fout is the biggest body the Raiders have on the interior. When you lose a guy like Wilkins, who commands double teams regularly, you need someone who can at least hold the point of attack and occupy blockers. Fout is that guy. If his primary job this season is to eat up space and keep offensive linemen busy so others can make plays, then that's what he needs to do and do it well. But here's where things get interesting, and maybe even a little controversial. The player I believe is under the biggest spotlight right now. The guy who absolutely needs to step up in the absence of Wilkins is none other than Tyree Wilson. I know. People are already out there grumbling about him, questioning whether the Raiders made the right pick back in 2023 when they took him over a guy like Jalen Carter, and to be fair, those criticisms aren't coming out of nowhere. But the fact remains, Wilson has the physical tools. He's shown he can line up both at defensive end and inside at defensive tackle when needed. Let's not forget, the Raiders drafted not just Hemingway and Pages, but also made other roster moves with versatility in mind. There's a reason they've loaded up on these hybrid players who can slide inside or outside. Wilson fits that mold perfectly if there's ever been a put up or shut up moment for him. This is it. Contract year, increased opportunity, and a glaring hole in the defensive line rotation staring him right in the face. If Wilson wants to silence the critics and solidify his place in this defense, the time is now. It's also worth mentioning that the ripple effect of Wilkins' situation doesn't stop at the defensive line. This is going to impact the linebackers, the secondary, even the offensive side of the ball indirectly. The defense as a whole will need to compensate. Max Crosby will likely face even more double teams. Malcolm Kuntz, Zach Carter, and others will all feel the pressure to elevate their play. And sure, we could sit here and throw out names like Crosby, Butler, and Fout all day. But the reality is this: if Tyree Wilson doesn't take a massive step forward, this defense is going to struggle to stop the run and generate consistent pressure up the middle. That's just facts. And before anyone jumps in the comments asking about possible free agent pickups or trade targets, don't worry, I'm getting to that. But first, I wanted to make it clear where I stand on the internal solutions, because as much as fans love to fantasize about big-name signings and splashy trades, the cold reality is that the Raiders' best chance of navigating this Wilkins dilemma is to get more from the guys already on the roster. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers echoing through league corridors suggest a significant defensive shakeup might be on the horizon for the Las Vegas Raiders. Unconfirmed reports and strong speculation point towards the silver and black potentially making a massive splash by acquiring veteran defensive back Mike Hilton. While no official confirmation has emerged from either camp, the buzz surrounding Hilton's possible arrival in Vegas is growing louder, hinting at a move that could dramatically elevate the Raiders. Defense. Sources close to the situation, speaking on condition of anonymity, have indicated that discussions, if not already advanced, are certainly taking place. The notion of a game-changing acquisition for the Raiders secondary has been a recurring theme, and Hilton's name has surfaced repeatedly as the ideal candidate to fulfill this role. Known for his versatility, aggressive play style, and knack for creating turnovers, Hilton's addition would undoubtedly provide an instant upgrade to a Raiders defense that has sought more consistency and playmaking ability. Imagine the potential impact. Hilton, with his proven track record as a slot corner capable of blitzing, covering, and tackling with equal prowess, could become the cornerstone of a revitalized defensive unit. The talk around the league is that such a signing would not merely be an addition, but a transformative one, with the potential to genuinely elevate the defense's level. This isn't just about filling a roster spot, it's about injecting a much-needed jolt of veteran leadership and high-impact performance. The very idea has fans buzzing about the prospect of a more formidable, opportunistic defense taking the field. While still firmly in the realm of rumor and possibility, the sheer volume of the speculation suggests there could be fire behind the smoke. For Raiders faithful, the mere mention of Mike Hilton donning the silver and black uniform offers a tantalizing glimpse into a future where their team's defense commands more respect and instills greater fear in opposing offenses. Could this be the big move that finally solidifies the Raiders' defensive aspiration? Only time will tell. But for now, the anticipation is palpable. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.